Hi everyone. Realised I didn't do a follow-up video, so I thought I better had catch you all up on everything. The good news was there was a bed on the 23rd of Feb. It was really simple actually, unlike last year where there was a lot of messing around. I went in on the Sunday, no problem, and then started the Lemtrada fine on the Monday. The only slight annoyance is that I didn't get a private room this time. I was on a general ward, which was slightly tricky to begin with, largely because one of the guys who was on the ward was a little bit bonkers, full of conspiracy theories about 9/11 and all sorts of other bits and bobs, which was really not great to have him there. But thankfully, the nurses moved him off to a different room on his own, I think. I was next to a guy called David, used to be in the army, so his nickname was Adders, so I called him Adders. Really, really nice guy, Manchester City fan. And we had a really good laugh actually. We got on really well, chatted about the football and just had our infusions together and made it a bit of a fun experience, which was really good. It made such a difference because, you know, 3 days isn't the longest time to be in hospital, but it's long enough to kind of get you down and stuff. So it was great to kind of have him there to kind of bounce off and things like that and have a laugh with, which was good. In terms of the treatment, it went pretty much exactly the same as it did last year, which was that the first day I had a bad reaction to the treatment, kind of got feverish, aches and pains all over my body, things like that. But that was exactly what happened on the first day of treatment last year, so I wasn't overly worried, and I said as much to the nurses, and right enough, the second day's treatment went perfectly, no problems at all with it, same with the third day's treatment. So that was great actually, that it kind of all went exactly as I was expecting it to go, so there were no surprises for me, which was nice. So yeah, got released on the Wednesday, no problem, nothing to worry about. Then I had a bit of a scare on the Friday because I woke up with a stiff neck and also blurred vision, both of which are things that on the Lemtrada website they kind of flash up as a, if you have this within a couple of days of treatment, go and see somebody. Went to see my GP, and I'll be honest, he was entirely useless. He basically just said, don't know why you've come to me. I don't know anything about the treatment. You should be phoning the ward. So I left his without him doing anything whatsoever, phoned the ward, and the ward said, you need to go and see a medical professional. Thanks. So I went to the walk-in centre near me. They were very surprised that my GP had done nothing whatsoever. So they checked my blood pressure, checked my pulse, checked all the usual stuff. And they said basically that my heart rate was quite high. That was something they were slightly worried about. And they phoned the ward, had a chat with the ward, and the ward basically said it might be an infection after the infusion. So to go and get blood tests done at the hospital. Now, my local hospital is Arrow Park, which is obviously the centre of the coronavirus kind of place where they're all being put. So I was very wary about doing that, not because I don't imagine that they've got everything put in place, but Lemtrada is basically a chemotherapy. It wipes out your immune system. So I have, really low immune system right now. I'm very much immunocompromised. So I was wary, but didn't have a lot of choice. Went to Arrow Park, and they did blood tests that came back clear. They did an ECG that came back clear. Everything kind of that they were worried about was clear. But the biggest thing they were concerned about was my blurred vision. And when I say blurred vision, what I mean is that when you go to the opticians and they have those sort of things that have got letters on, and the letters start really big and get gradually small. Well, normally without my glasses, I can see about 4 lines of it before I start to lose it and have to, I can't really see properly. All I could see was the top letter, and everything else might as well have been hieroglyphics. Like, it was absolutely, I couldn't have even guessed at what the letters were. That was in either eye. That was kind of whatever. So that was causing them a bit of concern. They used something where there's glasses that have got pinholes in them that you can put on, and when I wore those glasses, I could see more letters, which meant that they were not overly worried. They spoke to an ophthalmologist who works in Chester, and he was going to come over on the Friday night because the vision was so bad. But when I put my pinhole glasses on and I could see the letters okay, he wasn't quite as worried. So they decided to keep me in overnight, which was quite frustrating, but I understand why it had to happen. I was just concerned because I was on a ward with a load of people coughing and spluttering and all that kind of thing, and I didn't have an immune system. So I kept saying, look, I don't think I should be here. I haven't got an immune system really right now. I'm very, very immunocompromised. They kind of, were like, well, it's fine. They've all got smokers' coughs. Don't worry about it. So, whatever. The the following morning, the doctor came around and he was like, look, from my point of view, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Your blood tests are fine. Your ECG's fine. There's nothing that we're worried about. I had a CAT scan, and they weren't bothered about that. So CT scans, so that all came back clear. So they were like, as far as we're concerned, you're fine, but we want the ophthalmologist to see you. He's the one that gets to make the final decision. So eventually I saw the ophthalmologist around lunchtime, and he checked my eyes and they were all fine. And by the time I'd seen him, my vision had improved a little bit, so I could read more of the thing. And he basically said to me the reason he was concerned initially is that there is a very rare thing in MS, like millions to one kind of rare, where bilateral focus problems can be an indicator of somebody getting complete paralysis. So that's why it flashed up as a red flag for them. So he was going to come over the night before, and then when they said the pinhole glasses meant that I could see okay, they were like, it's fine, then okay, we'll just go the following day. So he checked me out. He was like, your eyes are completely healthy. The blurred vision is just, a side effect of the drug. It's, it'll wear off, and it pretty much has. I mean, I do have prescription glasses, but if you've been watching the videos, you'll remember that I had a lens on the glasses that I had to wear for about a year, and I got so bored of wearing glasses that I now try not to wear my glasses whenever I can. And he was basically just saying, look, you just need to wear your glasses. But my vision was definitely worse, and it had improved. So it's not, it wasn't that I was just forgetting to wear my glasses. The stiff neck went away on its own. I think I just slept funny. So I think it was a series of coincidences. And I also got a rash all over my chest, or trunk as they referred to, which was lovely. So all over me, which again is quite a standard reaction to Lemtrada. But I think the combination of blurred vision, the rash, the stiff neck made them think it could be something serious. So they decided to bring me in. I don't regret going in. I think it was the right thing to do. I was released fine on the Saturday, no problem. And I've been generally fine since. I think the only thing is, when you have something like this, and again, Lemtrada is basically chemotherapy. It's the chemotherapy that was developed for leukemia patients. So it's a really, really heavy duty drug. When you have something like that, I think you start to become a little bit paranoid about everything. You've got a slight sniffle. You're like, oh, what does that mean? I've got, sneezing. Oh my goodness, what's that about? Right now, that is especially the case because, of course, we're in the height of the coronavirus. And when people talk, when specialists and experts talk about it and they say vulnerable people, and they generally say it's about older people, well, it's not just older people, it's people like me who are immunocompromised. So for me, the coronavirus could be deadly. So that's the real concern, and that's what I'm really, really worried about. Now, I'm really fortunate in the sense that I work from home, so I barely have left the house. Ironically, the times I have left the house have been to go to places where loads of ill people are, like the doctors and the hospital. But generally speaking, I barely have left the house. I don't have to leave the house. I'm able to stay in, which is great. So I've been quite lucky. But the reality is that that's not the way these things work, because my wife is a dog trainer and she works in Manchester, so she's coming into contact with loads of people all the time, so she could bring it back. We get parcels delivered. It can exist on surfaces for a couple of days apparently, so it could be on there. So being alone is only so useful, I guess. And so I am really worried, I'll be honest. I'm really scared about it because it could be really serious for me, and there's only so much I can do. I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying to be as sensible as I possibly can be about it all, but there's only so much I can do. So that that's the reality of the situation. Is I just have to be sensible, be clever, don't put myself into too much too many tricky situations or what have you. So that's what I'm trying to do. In terms of the treatments, I still feel a bit run down. I'm quite tired, sort of struggling to sleep a little bit, things like that. But again, all stuff that after you've had a really heavy dose of chemotherapy isn't exactly a surprise. So hopefully that's kind of caught you up a little bit. And if you're having Lemtrada or considering Lemtrada or anything like that, there, there are lots of risks associated with it. And even if I kind of survived this coronavirus scare and all that kind of thing, there are other things that can happen to me. Thyroid disorder is one of the big ones. I'm hoping for an overactive thyroid if I get one, and that'll make me a bit slimmer. Maybe if I could lose a couple of stone, that'd be great. But there's loads of side effects. But then I haven't had any MS relapses since I had it. So in that sense, that's a good thing, I guess. Yeah, so I hope that's caught you all up on everything. Please do leave comments and so on if you want to know more, and drop me a line and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right, cheers, guys. Bye.